Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday, 3:15 p.m., and I currently have a vent right above me blowing some nice cool air, so if you hear some background noise, that's the sacrifice we have to make so I can not sweat. So we're looking at SPY in full control of the bulls. We've got support at 289.40, and that's our new hourly support level. We had a little mini bull flag yesterday, and we did break that support, but obviously we didn't see much follow through, and the consolidation that we saw today, really there were no red flags at any point, and the volume is also extremely low, which is what the bulls want to see. Low volume on consolidation, which is ideal. The scenario we're looking at right now is the high of pre-market, the low of the pullback, and if we set a lower high on the hourly compared to 290.56, then we'll look for an hourly equilibrium heading into tomorrow, but we're likely not going to see that play out until tomorrow, with the extended hours action having a significant effect on whether this pattern plays out or not. But the bottom line is bulls are just fine. Certainly still in control. Still above the upper Bollinger Band on the daily, and it's shaping up to be the highest close we've ever seen on SPY. So we do have, again, look at the volume. Very low volume, not a whole lot going on, which is just fine for the bulls overall. So checking in on the dollar on the daily time frame with a break of a lower high and a lower low. So we're looking at resistance of 95.71. Anything under that level is just another lower high, and we're going to have to see a change in the daily trend in order for the weekly higher low to be set. So that support level is down at 94.43, and resistance is 95.71, a wide range on the daily chart to be watching. We'll see if the bulls can get any bounce, but anything under 95.71 is just a lower high. Gold on the daily time frame pulling back pretty significantly. The red flag for the bulls, number one, we know we're in a weekly downtrend. So when we lose the higher low pattern on the 4-hour chart, and we lost it all the way back up at 1208 essentially, just below 1208, and now we're just falling pretty hard. So that was the clear signal. Lose the 4-hour higher lows, and we're going to see daily consolidation. The bulls need to form a higher low compared to 1183 on this daily time frame, and I would expect them to do so. So depending on how significant this consolidation is going to be, we're either going to get a potential equilibrium or just a higher low, and then we'll see if the bulls can make their way back up to the higher highs. But a lot of people jumping in those bears right now, those bear miners, because the bear miners have been making tons of gains this month, and this was just, the bears want to see this be the weekly lower high on gold, and it might be. So that's why the bears are jumping in on the loss of the 4-hour higher lows and the first sign of weakness since that bounce got started. Oil on the daily time frame, still holding up just fine for the bulls. The bulls need a daily higher low. We haven't formed one since 65.35, so it's been a while. And we're looking for a clear, healthy higher low to form. We have the inventory report tomorrow to be watching, and that will be an indication of whether we're going to see a move up to a bunch of resistance around $70 or whether we pull back and try and form a higher low in the $67 range. Natural gas, beautiful follow through. Weekly lower high is very clearly set at this point. And again, we're still eyeing down around 280, but we're getting pretty extended. The 4-hour RSI is very beat up, so I would expect some short-term bounces on the way down, and we'll see how much pullback we get if we can make it to that 280 target. And again, that's just a visual target of where the higher low would attempt to form on this weekly equilibrium setup. And of course, Thursday, the inventory report is going to have a significant impact as well. Bitcoin, bulls in full control. Nice bull break. Looks like we got continuation. Hourly higher low, and now follow through with higher highs. Visually, a while ago, 7,200 was our target, so we'll see if we're making it up to that level, but we have a lack of resistance in this area right now, and the next resistance, 71.63 is a key level, and if that breaks, 74.95 is the next one. So there's a lot of space. It's all about 71.63, and again, this weekly equilibrium is shaping up, and as I just said in the video I made in the middle of the day, that this weekly equilibrium is going to be awesome, and I can't wait until we get the break, because we're going to have plays both with stocks, with GBTC and the ETN, and also, of course, with cryptocurrencies itself. So we've got opportunity coming in Q4 2018. We'll see which direction that break does occur. And let's get into some setups. I'm watching CGC here at the end of the day, but we might, let's see, we need to see, the bulls want to see a break of 44.08, and the bears want a break of 43.10, and we're pretty much right in the middle of that range. So we're going to get some information here at the end of the day, and that's what I'm watching right now. So, let me readjust and get ready, and we'll go into NEPT first. So any PT on the daily chart, we have pretty much a double bottom at the low of the day, 375 and 376, and it is a daily inside bar. So we're looking at a break of this daily inside bar tomorrow. Bulls have to break $4, and then 407 and 427 are the next two resistance levels. And the bears want to see a break of 375, which would indicate healthy daily consolidation is coming. And we are certainly due for that consolidation, but we are closing up near the high of the day. So that is a good sign for the bulls keeping control. We'll see if they can keep the party going above the upper Bollinger Band and see a daily inside bar bull break tomorrow. Netflix on the daily chart actually looks really, really similar. So we have a double bottom essentially, 360 and 360 38, and that is now the most important support level short term. It's a pretty clear bearish entry if we break 360, at least in the short term. We will be looking for a daily higher low to form once that level does break because we broke all these lower highs. But it's a daily inside bar, and we're closing strong up near the high of the day. Resistance will be the high of today, and then 374.49, and after that we're looking up at 380 or 375.75 is the next level. Also trying to remain above the upper Bollinger Band. 50-day moving average resistance is right there as well. But bulls, certainly strong here at the end of the day. Apple is a raging bull today. Blue sky breakout. The upper Bollinger Band is up there, and Donna was pointing that out. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. That upper Bollinger Band could be a resistance level, and it is going to be a resistance level because we don't have anything else besides psychological levels. So we'll watch that level tomorrow and see where it comes into play. Hourly higher lows are still intact on Apple, and when we lose hourly higher lows, anything above 213.84 will keep the bulls in control of the daily uptrend. So overall, the bulls don't have anything to worry about at this point. It's just a question of whether we see continuation to all-time highs or whether we lose the hourly higher low pattern and see some healthy daily consolidation. Tesla. So Tesla on the daily is an inside bar as well, but a much different inside bar. It is a weak one with a close near the low of the day. So support is 311.19 and 308.81. If we lose those levels, we're still going to pull back and still look for the higher low compared to 288.20. But there's a lack of support under those levels aside from 300 psychological. Look at the perfect rejection from exponential resistance on the daily time frame on this bounce. So we're going to watch and see if those exponential resistances continue to drive the price down and keep those bears in control. So we'll watch for an inside bar bear break tomorrow, and the bears would love to see SPY daily consolidation with a bit more follow through on an inside bar bear break just to get that added momentum to the downside. Facebook. And looks like Stock Charts is not cooperating, so we're going to go to TradingView. And Stock Charts is in trouble as a company. TradingView is blowing them out of the water. One more chance. So Facebook, that may be our lower high. Again, we have an inside bar, but we are closing weak down near the low of the day. If we see this inside bar break bearish, we're going to have a new clear lower high at 178.67, and our higher low is 170.91. So that's the range we're watching if we break bearish tomorrow and see follow through. So the low of today will be support. 175.79 will be the next level. There's a gap at 174.82, but this would favor the bears. If the bulls can't get up to 180, and this is as high as they get, 178.67, the bears will have a slight advantage on this pattern. So definitely worth keeping an eye on how tomorrow goes as to whether we get follow through for the bears, and that is showing up as our daily lower high. You guys trying to see some bounce now. Again, oversold bounce short term on the 4-hour time frame for natural gas is anticipated from here. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. And you guys need to change the hourly trend in favor of the bulls. So we have a bounce. Haven't really established a clear higher low on the hourly from the bounce. So I need to see a clear higher low and then a break of the lower highs. Right now, this is still the same bounce move, I would call it. Inside bar, a little inside bar bull break. So it's a bit of a solid bounce, but I don't believe that we have formed our natural gas higher low on the weekly just yet. Again, I was looking at visually just 280 to be that pullback. The inventory report is going to have a significant impact, and we would have to see the 4-hour trend change on natural gas in order to be confident that we are looking at follow through on this bounce. Just a little short-term oversold bounce at this point. We'll see if the bulls can get some follow through. Watching CGC 43.10 support is approaching. Potential for a sell-off here at the end of the day. which would give us our hourly lower high. I'm sure I'm going to look at that in just a second. GDS. So GDS on the daily time frame, getting a little toppy. The upper Bollinger Band is keeping the price contained. Inside bar, and if we lose the inside bar tomorrow, we will lose the daily higher low pattern that has been holding the last 9 days in a row. So support is going to be 36.66, key level. That's a bear signal if we break it. And resistance 38.43 and 38.47. And actually it wasn't an inside bar by 4 pennies, but I consider that a double top. So I'm still going to view it the same way I would if it were an inside bar. OGI.V, bulls bought that dip in a big way. That's probably one of the most impressive buying of the dip here that we saw today in the Canadian MJ sector. APH was one of the other very impressive dips that was bought up, but OGI, very significant. So we're going to be looking back up at the high of 628. Again, you want to look at the hourly time frame for all these Canadian MJ names. That's where it's the most clear for me. And we're going to watch for an hourly lower high here, I assume. It would be surprising if we didn't. Equilibrium is setting up. So high, low, we are looking for a lower high, and then we'll pull back and look for a higher low due to the size of the bounce. Right now, looking at CGC, the size of the bounce is not big enough that we would anticipate an equilibrium. We could absolutely see an equilibrium, but we could also see just continuation to the downside, especially if the bears attacked CGC like they did pre-market today. And you better believe that these big boys and big girls are going to be utilizing pre-market to further their agenda. And they did that today by, again, crushing the price. Look at how much volume that it took. So we had the price 47 to 44. We'll call it $3. Look at the volume that dropped the price $3. 322,000 shares. And then we had this candlestick, 44.85 to 42.10. That is less than $3. And look at how much volume it took. 6 million. So we are talking a 2,000% more volume to move the price less. And obviously there's differences because we were already pulling back and things like that. But you get the idea. Pre-market, you can do a lot with a little bit of volume, and they are going to be doing this to further their agenda. If they're short, they're going to drive the price down pre-market, and if they're long, they're going to drive the price up. We enjoyed these gap ups for so long because everybody was looking bullish, and that's the direction. But now I do believe we have flipped to bearish, and the bears entered their shorts yesterday. We saw those signals, and I do believe you're going to see weakness here at the end of the... So that's what I'm looking for on CGC. Might as well just do that as well while we're on it. So lower high on the hourly is set. We just broke 43.10. That makes me a lot more confident that the lower high is set because that was our 5-minute higher low. Clear trend change on the 5-minute makes us confident the hourly lower high has been set. And now we're going to see, can the bulls hold 41.15 and form an hourly equilibrium, or are we just going to drop right down and break that support level tomorrow? Tomorrow's going to be very telling. So when people always ask, where can we look for the pullback to go to? I get so much information every hour of trading that it's constantly shifting my targets and my percentage chance of things to happen that really it's just always adapting to what the current action is doing. So it's hard to say. ALEF.V. Very bullish. Above the upper Bollinger Band, big bull break of 94 cents. Hourly higher lows, the bulls want to maintain. Weekly time frame, significant bull break. So we had an equilibrium. We broke the lower highs. Resistance is 101 and 125. So there's JNUG with a significant pullback with a lot of bear volume. We do have support at 731, but this is a weak bounce attempt. And if you look at the weekly time frame, this bounce attempt is not impressive at all. It's a potential bear flag. We're rejecting from exponential resistance. As long as those weekly exponential moving averages are resistance, the potential for a weekly bear flag is still there. So the bulls have to form a higher low compared to 731, and then we'll see if they can see bounce continuation, but this definitely looks like a bear flag at this point. Dust, weekly bull flag, potential. Anything under 41.24 is just a lower high. So we'll probably bounce and set a lower high compared to 41.24. Then we'll need a higher low and then a break of the lower highs to start to try and confirm that weekly bull flag. So the setups are currently definitely favoring the bear miners still at this point. And this is even with the dollar weak. The dollar, I mean, this is the gold bull's chance because the dollar is seeing way more weakness than I anticipated we initially would on this first little pullback. So the fact that the bull miners and gold are weak, even though the dollar is still pretty weak, definitely is a point in favor of those bear miners. CRON, so I'm going to look at Canadian MJ on the hourly time frame for everything. So Cron, this is a very weak bounce attempt. And again, an equilibrium is not favored here. If we saw more of a bounce, maybe up to 1190, then we would be favored in equilibrium. But we only got up to 1150. So the odds of a lower high and then continuation to a lower low are more likely than not at this point. 1036 support, likely to be tested tomorrow. We'll see if the bulls can hold it or not. CVSI, really liking the setup of the equilibrium. Still no trend change on the hourly time frame. We're going to set an hourly lower high compared to 528. Then we need an hourly higher low and then a break of the lower highs to be confident that our daily higher low has been established. And we are looking for a daily higher low for the equilibrium. And pretty much we could see that this was the most likely scenario 6 days ago. After that one candlestick and after the bounce started, we could say, all right, we're likely to form a lower high and then a higher low. And then we just look for the little clues that affirm the most likely scenario, which is what has been playing out. So nice bullish candlestick on the daily, but we look to the hourly and say, all right, this bounce is only just coming from the low. We do need the confirmation and follow through. There's no bull volume behind this move, so we need the hourly higher low and then higher high to see the daily higher low being set. SPY, it doesn't really matter where we close. I don't think there's a significant difference in these pennies. We're in blue sky breakout. The bulls still have solid momentum, but we are watching the potential of that hourly equilibrium that I pointed out first thing. UAA. 2048 key support. We bounced off 2045, so we are still building a base of support in this range. In a 5-cent range, we've bottomed out 4 times now. It is also a potential head and shoulders, even though there's not much to reverse. We're still clearly in a weekly downtrend, but if we see a little bounce instead of lower high on the daily and then come back down and break 2045, it will be a clear break of support. There's a lack of support under that area, and that will give the trend right back to the bears if that does happen. Weekly time frame. It's going to be interesting. I would still anticipate the bulls to be able to hold this weekly and give us a weekly equilibrium even if we do break that support on the daily. But that is now a very important short-term level. Not a lot of bull volume compared to the bear volume the last 2 days. XLV.Y clearly pulling back today, so we were unable to break the high of yesterday first thing. That was an indication for profit taking. So we will look for a daily higher low, and the daily higher low will give us an indication when we find an hourly trend change. So the hourly trend changing makes us confident that our daily higher low has been established. We also want to see continued declining bear volume if we do break the lows of today, tomorrow, which I assume we will see. So next support level after the low of today, 103, $1, and down to 86 after that. But so far so good as far as volume is concerned, and keep an eye on the hourly time frame. So daily inside bar for beer. Again, bulls are loving the volume. No volume behind this pullback, at least compared to the bull volume. 29 and 28.5 are supports. If we break those levels, we stand back patiently. We have a few supports. The low of every day is pretty much every support we're watching. And we will need to see a change in the hourly trend to be confident our daily higher low has been established. And then we have a clear support level to be using as a stop loss once that hourly trend does change. So still closing near the low of the day obviously favors the bears into tomorrow. We might be in for some further weakness. And watch the hourly. META.V is very tight. We did get a bull break over 117, but no follow through behind it. Most important support is 106. The bulls are hoping 110 is our higher low. They want to break 119 and then up to 120. Trying to shift this momentum and see the bull break to try and confirm the healthy weekly consolidation and then look for continuation after that. So things are going to get interesting towards the end of the week or early next week in META. SQ. Checking CGC here for a second. Bulls not seeing a whole lot of weakness. New lower high on the 5-minute is 43.74. Anything under that, just a lower high. So SQ, very strong. Bulls in full control. Hourly higher lows to be watching. Increase in bull volume. Blue sky breakout above the upper Bollinger Band. 81.41 and 82 are resistances. NTNX, also extremely strong. Breakout mode above the upper Bollinger Band. Resistance after 60.84 is 62.53. When we lose the hourly higher lows for either name, we'll be watching for the potential of healthy daily consolidation. ALNY, good job by the bulls to break 117.63 and see continuation. So hourly higher lows, key for support, and resistance after 118.31. Lack of resistance. 118.71 and then psychological 119, 120. And then we have the upper Bollinger Band as support as well. We'll see how long the bulls can maintain above it in breakout mode. AMD, healthy consolidation, still holding the upper Bollinger Band gap at $24. Did not fill by 3 pennies. So I always want to see what this consolidation looks like on the hourly. That's healthy. No major red flags at this point. Healthy daily consolidation. And we'll be confident that our daily higher low has been established when the hourly trend changes back for the bulls. BB.TO, nice continuation. Higher lows the last 4 days in a row. Clear bull break was 1371, and we've seen multiple days of follow through now. There's a lack of resistance in this range, so psychological levels will look at 1450 and 15. Checking the weekly. So the weekly has broken the lower highs. Bit of an odd pattern. But there is a lot of space with a lack of resistance where we currently stand. And when we lose the hourly higher low pattern, we'll look for healthy consolidation on the daily for a higher low to form. And there is declining bull volume to be aware of as well. Shop.to. Anything under 198.50 is a lower high. Bulls still have the uptrend, higher lows every day on this bounce. But we will look for a lower high compared to 198.50, and losing the hourly higher low pattern will be an indication that we have. QQQ, all bulls still above the upper Bollinger Band, same as SPY today. Very healthy consolidation, low volume, still maintaining hourly higher lows of support. When we lose those hourly higher lows, we look for healthy daily consolidation to follow through. 185.02, 186 psychological after that. Very strong overall. BLOC.V. BLOK.V. So we lost the daily higher low pattern. Bears back in control. When we bounce from here, we will anticipate just a daily lower high forming because we are now in a downtrend again. Daily inside bar. Low of the day will be support, then 355. So still seeing weakness here. MG.TO, break of the lower highs. 72.48, 72.64. So the start of the bounce is underway. There's gap to fill, so there's nice space. Have to keep those hourly higher lows. 73 psychological, 74 after it. And as long as the bulls keep the hourly higher lows, we will look to fill some of this gap back. Keeping in mind that the weekly chart is still bearish. This is just a daily oversold bounce getting follow through. And the weekly chart's going to have a lot of work to change that trend. BIR.TO. Could be looking for an equilibrium here. We're pulling back now. We need to see a higher low form on the daily and then a bull break of 512 to be looking back up at the recent high of 545. No bear volume on this pullback is a good sign for the bulls. 502, $5, and then 496 are supports. So the bulls just want to see some healthy consolidation and then continuation after a solid 4 days in a row before today. FCAU topping out a bit. So I always go and look and say, have we lost the hourly uptrend? And we have not. We're just setting an hourly higher low because we did not set one yesterday. This is a weak bounce attempt. It looks like an hourly bear flag. The bulls definitely need more follow through. Otherwise, it could be an hourly bear flag to see further pullback, which would lead to daily consolidation. So 1750 to 1765 is the current range, and bulls have some proving to do. Otherwise, it's going to favor the bears. AAL bulls had some nice continuation today. All about 40.71 and 40.75. Key bull breaks are closing in. And if we break those levels, it will potentially negate. It will change the trend if we break those levels. The weekly will have a higher low and a bull break and a bull MACD cross. Next level would be 41.16. Bulls looking pretty good. Need to just break those last two levels. Or I should say next two levels. IRBT. When I see a pattern like this that has so many clear higher lows on the daily time frame, at this point it's 7 in a row now, I need to see a break of those daily higher lows, which pretty much indicates an hourly trend change. But obviously anybody trying to go short any day is losing. So rather than just trying to time the top and hoping you nail it, waiting for some weakness is better risk reward in my opinion. RSI is definitely very high, but that hasn't held the bulls back. Google lower high set compared to 1272, not surprising. Now we're looking for a higher low compared to 1204, and then a break of 1260. If we get this clear little higher low and then break 1260, the downtrend on the daily is broken. The consolidation trend, I should say, is broken, and the weekly bull flag will be looking for confirmation and follow through. WJA.TO 1812 support, 1885, 1897 resistance, pretty range bound. It's not your standard equilibrium, but I do see low, high of the bounce, higher low, lower high. I would say the most important range is just 1795 to 1897. Bulls obviously a lot closer to a break. And if we get that break, gap at 1920 is the next target. OSTK. Bulls trying to recover from the clear bear break yesterday. And unless the bulls can break 31.55, that's the highest of the bounce attempt that we've seen over the last week and a half. If we can't break that level, bulls prove nothing. Bulls have to break that level. So we do need follow through for the bulls tomorrow. XRP USD trying to make its way to follow along in the footsteps of Bitcoin strength. 374 is a must break level. That's the high of the initial bounce, then we have the higher low, and then we need continuation over that level. Very solid bull volume, but it's not doing a ton to move the price. And hourly higher low, 34282, and nice little continuation there. Following along with Bitcoin, but obviously way behind Bitcoin on the daily chart. Could be an inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's not the ideal kind for me, The ideal kind has the right neckline lower than the left so that the bull break breaks the lower high pattern. The lower high technically was already broken, but the bulls have to form a higher low compared to 511 and break 559 for continuation. VII.TO, we're looking for a lower high to be set. Daily inside bar. If we break this daily inside bar bearish tomorrow with a break of 1604, it will be likely our lower high has been set and we'll pull back and look to form a higher low somewhere in the low $15 area. So high, low, because this range is so large and equilibrium is likely, lower high, and then we're looking for that higher low. I am not playing the Facebook oversold bounce because I am not looking at that chart. I have no idea what's going on with Facebook. That's very notable bear volume. Not enough time here at the end of the day for me to want to play that. Really nice, clear. Well, never mind. I was going to say a nice, clear. Well, it was this morning. That bear entry with the lower high anticipated, and then we dropped right down and broke that support. And then now just another lower high and lower low. So SPY's now closing at the low of the day, or towards the low of the day. And there is a gap to be watching at 287.67. Netflix continuation is more likely than not, especially because it's holding up really well in the face of this little sell-off at the end of the day. But if we do see further consolidation on SPY, that's obviously just going to be swimming upstream for the Netflix bulls. But it is a nice tightening range and an inside bar to be watching tomorrow. So I'm still watching CGC here. It's pretty contained consolidation. There's no sell-off at the end of the day. We broke 43.10, only dropped 30 cents, and then saw a bounce. It's still a lower high, lower low 5-minute pattern, but it's not the kind of weakness that I would anticipate the bears to be able to follow through with, especially with SPY weakness as well. Let's see if they're just saving it up for the last 5-10 minutes of trading, but I'm going to be all cash tonight. There's nothing that I don't want to gamble on what these market makers are going to do during extended hours. It's easy when we're all on the same page, when we're in blue sky breakout and the bulls, have a ton of money to be making and they're closing strong and looking for continuation the next day, but everybody is not on the same page anymore very clearly, and that started yesterday. So I'm going to wrap up here and put out a Canadian MJ video after the close. I'll try and do a SPY video, although might not get to it. I am leaving the house soon. SPY is an hourly lower high, and it'll be a lower low if we break 289.40, and that will indicate daily consolidation is coming, and that gap fill will be a potential target that I just pointed out on the daily. So it is a lower high on the hourly, and we might get that lower low into tomorrow. OSTK, closing strong. We are a little extended. That bounce didn't establish much support on the way up. 32.25 is important short-term support. Break 30.25 and the bears are going to keep control. Man, Trump going after the tech sector. Interesting. Google, Facebook, and Twitter all in one day. Or I assume it's all the same thread of thought. That explains the Facebook volume. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.